That actually picked up the whole thing there, and we have... I really need to fiddle with my audio settings again sometime. Wait, maybe I need the mic to go, like, there. Whatever. We're back! Welcome back to the stream, everybody. That right there was both King K. Rool and Ship Deck 2, and also The Dark World from, well, first one obviously was from the Donkey Kong Country games, second one was from Link to the Past of the Legend of Zelda series specifically. Reason why it rolled over into that is because I was busy trying to grab something, and therefore the songs just kept rolling. But yeah, there we are. Hello Baked, hello Rolls, welcome to both of you, welcome back to the stream, and hopefully you're both having a lovely day. Also, thanks for handing out the gift sub to Rolls there, Baked, and all that jazz. Was the audio settings always go out of whack on you despite swearing that you don't touch anything? Yeah, I know. I'm assuming there's a gremlin involved somewhere. Something is screwing it up, I'm sure. And the large thing I'm noticing is that I do have like the room echo stuff and the noise suppression thing turned on. But every now and then I think my voice is so quiet that it cuts it off sometimes before I'm done speaking. But, you know, whatever. It's just a thing that I gotta deal with. But anyway, part of the reason why I played a Donkey Kong Country song is very specifically because the new Donkey Kong game came out a few days ago, I believe, and so far I've heard exceptionally good things about it. I've watched a little bit of people playing it, and honestly, it looks really fun to me. Now, I believe it's made by the same people who made Super Mario Odyssey, so, you know, same development studio. I loved Odyssey. It seems like I'd probably love this game. So I might end up getting it at some point, but it might be sometime down the line before I do so, because I haven't looked up how much that game costs in my neck of the woods, but I'm willing to bet it's not cheap. Because if not for the fact that I got the Switch 2 bundle with Mario Kart, I think Mario Kart would have cost me $100 or more, you know, just the game itself. So I don't know if Bananza costs that much. But it might. I don't know. It's ugh. Troublesome is the best way to put it. Never mind, of course, I've been strongly considering shelling out $200 to buy Twilight Princess for the GameCube because I saw that a while ago. But I can guarantee you the minute I do that, they're going to add it to their online thing on the GameCube, so... Oh yeah, no. Well, it's not even really just Nintendo anymore, but Nintendo has always been, because at the very least, most games, they'll go on pretty steep sale after all. Not all of them, though, because as I've said before, Baldur's Gate 3, despite the fact that game has been out for several years now, I've never seen that drop below like a $15 discount. And that's buying it digitally. Now, I suppose if I went out and found a used physical copy of it for one of the consoles somewhere, I might be able to find it for cheaper. But I mean, certainly that's always been the case with Nintendo with their first-party titles for the Switch, because you never see them get knocked down in price. Third-party titles for the Switch? Yes. But Breath of the Wild probably costs just as much now as it did back when it was first released. And that game was almost 10 years old, which is an insane thing to think about. But that being said, I think eventually I will get Bananza because, I mean, I've heard nothing but praise for it ever since it was released, and it does look really fun. So, I think I might have to get it sometime. That being said, I think I am going to want to play some of the earlier Donkey Kong Country games, or Donkey Kong games. Because I honestly... I've really only played Donkey Kong Country 1. Yeah, the original Donkey Kong Country. DKC 2. I played a little bit of DKC 3, but I never finished it. And I never owned it. And I think Donkey Kong Land, or... Yeah, is it called Donkey Kong Land? The one that was on the Game Boy? I think there were a few on the Game Boy, but we only owned the first one, and I played that. But I mean, I didn't play Donkey Kong 64. I didn't play any of the other ones that came after that. Yeah, so my experience with that series is really those three games, and even then I didn't play a lot of Donkey Kong Land, so it was really just DKC and DKC 2. But I don't know, one of these days maybe I'll grab Bananza and give that a go. I do love the fact that every time you pick up one of the Banandium gems, or whatever it is, it's essentially the game's version of the Power Moons from Odyssey. It just plays the "oh banana" clip, and it kills me every time. So if nothing else, the game gets my vote of confidence for that. Oh yeah, no, I was thinking to myself, should I get beer? And then I actually made a specific trip out to get some beer. This is I can't remember what this is. Let me go grab the can. And watch Friends Viewfinder. A Viewfinder Dortmunder is what it's called. It's apparently a German pale lager that has notes of noble hop spice, cereal grain, and light notes of malt sweetness. I don't know, all I know is it's beer. It's a pretty good one, actually. There was a little bit in the can, no suds left behind. It's actually kind of funny, seeing as how I saw, now granted belatedly because he posted it a while ago, Rolls posted basically one of those contract writers that bands do all the time. You know, the famous one from Wayne's World, where they mentioned that Ozzy wouldn't go on stage unless he had enough brown M&Ms to fill a brandy glass, which I think was actually a thing a band did. I don't know if it was Ozzy, but yeah, anyway, Rolls posted the writer for Motorhead, and a lot of it was very specifically detailed about the alcohol that they wanted. Here I am drinking this out of my Motorhead pint glass, so it's good shit. What else? I actually do have a few things to discuss before I start. Actually, no, there's really only one other thing. This is something I've been thinking about for a few days now. Now, now, we've known about this for a while, but of course Nintendo, speaking of Nintendo again, is making a Legend of Zelda movie, and they have officially said now that it's coming out in 2027, I think. 2027 is when the movie's coming out. Now, I have mixed feelings about this, because, I don't know, I don't see how it's going to work, because even now a friend of mine who fucking loves the Legend of Zelda series, like, she's been hooked on them ever since she was a kid, she also has very strong feelings about this, and we were discussing it the other day, and the basis of it is like, you know, basically everyone has in their heads their own set idea of what the characters from those games are like, because Link is essentially a cipher for the player, you know? It's like he's whatever you want him to be. Now, of course, that being said, each individual Link from the different games does kind of have slightly different personalities from each other. You know? For example, the one from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is the nearly unstoppable Chaos Gremlin. The one from Twilight Princess is actually a bit of a cocky bastard. The one from Link to the Past and Link's Awakening is basically adventurer classic. Nothing really seems to get him down. The one from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask is absurdly depressed. And then you've got the one from Wind Waker who's snarky as all fuck. So, yeah, you know, they all kind of have their own different personalities. And all of this is to say that it's going to be very jarring to have somebody officially be these characters. And to that end, they announced the other day who they have to play both Link and Zelda. And even right now, I can't remember their names, which is a shame, but it also is kind of telling. And I'm going to look up their names now, because I'm going to feel bad if I don't. Okay, so, Bo Bragason is playing Zelda, and this other kid, Benjamin Evan Ainsworth, is Link. That's the two people that they have playing these two characters. And they haven't been in much. and they're both fairly young. But here's the thing, both of those things are probably good, because number one, I feel like casting someone who's not like a big name star for characters like this is probably going to be a better idea as opposed to casting. I believe Tom Holland was somebody that a lot of people were hoping would be Link. It's like, I don't know if that's going to work. Because it's not going to be like, oh, that's Link. You're going to look at him and you're going to be like, oh, that's Tom Holland. Or Spider-Man if you're a Marvel fan. Either way. And the other thing is the fact that these two actors are so young also makes perfect sense, because there's only, I think, one game where Link is not a teenager. And that's Tears of the Kingdom. Because I think, well, I mean, granted, in Breath of the Wild, he's been in stasis for 100 years, so he's over a century old, but physically, he's like in his late teens. But in Tears of the Kingdom, because that seems to take place at least 7 years after the fact, it's the oldest version of Link we've seen, because he's in, like, his mid-20s, I suppose. So, you know, the fact that they've got some young actors for this is also neat. But anyway, like I said, it's not like these two people have been in a whole lot of things, but they have been in a few things, and specifically, the kid they have playing Link. It's actually really funny, because I didn't notice it until a local news outlet also reported on it. Because this kid, Benjamin Evan Ainsworth, now he's English, both of these actors are English, but he has a very strong connection to Newfoundland, specifically because the role that he's mainly known for right now is for a TV show called Son of a Critch, which is based off of the life of a Newfoundland comedian called Mark Critch. He's a fairly famous comedian. He had a role in, like, creating a couple of the bigger satirical, like, TV shows in Canada. Like, This Hour Has 22 Minutes, and I think he had something to do with the Royal Canadian Air Force as well. So yeah, I was like, so in my head, all I've been thinking now is, so you mean to tell me, technically, in a roundabout way, famous Newfoundland comedian Mark Critch is Link. Officially. Is officially Link. And I just haven't been able to get that out of my head ever since. And I'm just waiting to see if the man himself actually makes comment on that, because he probably will. Of course, the other thing is this kid who's playing Link, I realize that I've seen him in something else as well, except he was much younger then. He was one of the leads in this show that Mike Flanagan did for Netflix, The Haunting of Bly Manor. Because there were two kids who were, like, major characters in that show, and he was one of them. So I was like, oh yeah, I have seen this guy before. Granted, he was probably, like, 6 at the time, or 7, but anyway, like I said, I am somewhat skeptical still about a Legend of Zelda movie, and that's not really anything against the people who are working on it or these two actors. I just think it's going to be a very difficult thing to make a movie about. As of course, what my mind is going to keep going to is the Legend of Zelda cartoon that came on back in the 80s/90s. You know, the one that came on around the same time as the Super Mario Super Show. So I'm just going to be in the back of my head just waiting for Link to belt out a, well, excuse me, princess. Oh, no need to be skeptical about that. Be skeptical if work schedules an outing to a Coldplay concert. Yeah, I heard something about that. What's the deal with that? What was it, like some CEO of some company got caught having an affair at a Coldplay concert or something? I really usually don't pay attention to these kinds of things, so I just happened to vaguely see something about it today, actually. So I don't know, is Coldplay secretly setting up a bunch of stings for cheating husbands at this point? Oh, it was all over Twitter yesterday/Thursday. Oh, that explains everything, because I hardly ever used Twitter when I had it, and I deleted my account like a year ago. I've never been good with social media, even though it's not technically social media, as proven by how infrequently I use Discord. Like, I always cycle through these eras of myself where I'm like, maybe I should get a social media account and actually, you know, try to use it like quote unquote normal people do. And then I use it for maybe a year or two, and then I stop posting anything on it, and then eventually I delete it. The only reason I still have my Facebook account is just because Messenger is the easiest way for some people to get in contact with. That's it. I haven't posted anything on Facebook in 10 years. Oh, was that a nice call? Sipping beer in a Motorhead glass? Yeah, I know. I discussed that earlier where you posted the thing about the rider that they had in their contract. So I was like, yeah, why don't I just have some beer in a Motorhead glass? It's like 2 times a year on Facebook. Most of the time you lurk, have like 3 group chats with friends, family. So that's essentially what I do, except I don't actually post anything anymore. That new social media thing that was gaining traction there earlier in the year or last year or whatever it was, what's it called, Blue Sky? I made an account on that, haven't used it for anything. I haven't posted anything, I'm not following anybody. I was like, well, I may as well just make an account just in case I want to use it for something later. Give it another, oh, I don't know, 3 months, I'm probably just going to delete the account because, again, no social media for me. Oh, you have too many games tied to your Facebook account, so deleting your account wouldn't be good. Well, that's the other thing too, because when it has like some sort of secondary thing like that, you almost feel like you've got too much of an investment in it that you can't get rid of it. So I don't know. That's another kettle of fish right there, right? So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll just start posting random nonsense over on Blue Sky, and just to say that I've been using it. But yeah, I'm trying to think now if there was anything else I really had in mind. That, oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to say, I was like, so I was, let's see, I've gone through the Donkey Kong game, the Zelda casting, the beer. Uh, the other thing, it's really fucking warm. It has been, so we've been under a heat warning for the past 3, well, I think they lifted it yesterday, though I feel like they really shouldn't have, because if anything, yesterday was much worse than the 2 days preceding it. The temperatures were technically lower, but the humidity so much higher. I felt like I was drowning yesterday afternoon at work. And that's why today I finally, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because the beard is kind of covering everything. I actually got my hair cut because this was starting to get insane. I think they cut enough off of my head that it just was enough to make a wig for somebody else, you know? Thank you, Baked. Now, of course, like the beard is a bit more kind of unbalances everything again because it's much longer. Honestly, I was finding this causing me to overheat more than the beard, but I think I might trim this down a bit. Um, I don't know specifically what would constitute a heat warning, but I do know that the temperatures were reaching, depending on what time of the day it was and what part of the province you were in, it was going from like just below mid 30s to like high 30s in the Celsius. So I don't know. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I'm not good making the conversions, but it's pretty fucking warm, especially for here. And the humidity is probably, I don't know, close on to 100% or something. So it's not great, is what I'm saying. And I'm not good at cold weather. I'm good with cold weather. Hot weather? No, sir. Okay, you do know 38 Celsius is right about 100 Fahrenheit. So yeah, it was probably pretty close to 100 Fahrenheit for a couple of days this week. Like I said, it was a little bit lower yesterday, but the humidity shot up because it had rained that morning. Rained, then the sun came out, that all evaporated. All of it was in the air. It was like I was drowning the whole day. It was not good. I was not a fan. So you finally shave your goatee last week, going clean shaven for probably a week till you can't take it anymore. I mean, I used to shave all of this off except for the sideburns. Every summer. I used to do that for years. I think the last 2 or 3 years I haven't. I don't know, oddly, I can probably go back through my archive streams and tell when the last time I shaved my beard was. But I don't know, I've just gotten too used to having something here that I can't shave it off anymore. It's just feels weird. Oh, you're good with hoodie type weather? In the 40s, probably around 5 Celsius. Yeah, for me, the sweet spot is anywhere between 10 and 20. Like that, because you're getting there, it's like... It's not too cold, but it's also not too warm. But I mean, well, basically anything between -5, 20 is a more comfortable zone for me. Start getting past 20. No, I cannot. I simply cannot. But yeah, it's been too goddamn hot. It has been too goddamn hot lately. Anything slightly less warm and your family is like, it's cold. Yeah, I know. Most of my family has a similar view to it as me, but a lot of them can handle the warm weather better than I can. I know a lot of people who I know a lot of people who find 15 degrees cold, you know, and I just don't see it, because to me that is the best. Like, you can have it at that and everything is like... My ideal temperature is that I can go out wearing a light coat. Light coat, pants, t-shirt. That's, you know, that's my preferred regalia, if you will. But I don't know. I can't handle this nonsense that we're getting now. And the other big problem is we started having a spate of forest fires in May. I think early to mid-May, we had 4 forest fires. That basically never happens. There was a grass fire in the middle of the city sometime today. They tamped it down pretty quick, but still. You know, that's also like, so... A number of towns, well, I don't think there's been a lot of, like, specific damage. Like, a number of towns outside of the city had been briefly evacuated because there were these forest fires that were getting too close to them. So, yeah. That's another problem with it being too warm, you know? Here I am complaining about the heat, and here I am drinking beer, which isn't going to help. I mean, it feels nice, having a nice cold beer, but it's only going to warm me up. So I'd say I'm probably going to get myself a glass of water after this one is finished. Anyway, I feel like I've rambled on about this nonsense for quite long enough. So we're going to... I just remember that ugly 4-letter word is just 5-ish months away. Ah, yes. Yeah, I like it if it's just cold enough that it's just cold enough that you don't get that ugly 4-letter word, or if you do, you only get a light sprinkling of it. Piles of it, no. But then again, we don't really get as much of that as we used to anyway, aside from that massive dumping we got like 5 years ago. Anyway, like I was saying, Kenshi. I'm going to be playing some Kenshi tonight.